Okay, people, I gotta keep it real. I gotta be honest here. I gotta keep it 1,000 with you people. Dragon Ball Super Chapter 63, hands down, best chapter of Dragon Ball Super's manga of 2020 and of this arc, the Moro arc. Like, just bar none, the most emotional chapter of Dragon Ball Super's Moro arc. Probably one of the most emotional chapters of Dragon Ball Super, period. Like, there's some emotional moments out there, but this one right here hits a lot harder, and we're gonna get into why it hits a lot harder. But I ain't even gonna lie, for a character that, honestly, for the most part, I was never the biggest fan of Meerus. I was never like, whoa, Meerus, Galactic Patrol dude. But what he did in this chapter, how he did it, the moments, the reaction that Goku gave, just everything about this chapter, man. Like, yo, the two manga that come out in this magazine that I review every month, Boruto and Dragon Ball Super. I'm a huge Boruto fan, and the last few months I've been giving it like, yo, Boruto had, better chapter than Dragon Ball Super, but hands down, Dragon Ball Super won this round for me by leaps and bounds because, yeah, Toyotaro, I gotta give praise where it's due. If I'm gonna shit on you, then I gotta also give the, oh shit, this was greatness as well. And this chapter, at the very least, was absolute greatness, and I loved it, and it hit the feels. Let's talk some of that Dragon Ball Super, baby. Let's do it.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be, though.
Okay, people, so from where the last chapter left off, we pick up Meerus versus Moro. Meerus putting in work, and I gotta give massive props to Meerus. To be honest with you, throughout this arc, we've seen time and time again, like, yo, Meerus and the Angels are on another level, and I would love to see more combat. I would love to see whether if we enter another tournament at some given point or something there where we get to see the Angels really throw down, because like just seeing what Meerus was able to accomplish, and it's not like Meerus is, the top of the top, like the Grand Priest, to my understanding, would kick his ass. So seeing what he's able to do to Moro, even in that powered up OG-73 Vegeta technique absorbed form, and Meerus is still putting in work, like, these Angels, bro, what is going on with them? They are strong as a motherfucker, and if they decided to rebel or some shit, we had a war like that, which I would love it. I'm just throwing the idea out there. Toei, or Shueisha, or Toyotaro, or Toriyama, or whoever the fuck is doing this shit. Yeah, there you go. And while Moro and Meerus is throwing down, Dende's like, yo fam, let me sneak over here real quick, and he starts healing up everybody. He heals up Goku, and Goku's immediately able to get up, which it's kind of funny. They're like, oh, it's gonna take some time to heal up and bring Goku back to health, and it's like within a panel, like Goku's like, oh, I'm back, y'all, which thanks to Gohan's relentless triumphant moment, his real shining light of a moment of saying, no, I'll stay here, go ahead, get my dad, you could get me last. Just shut up, Gohan, just shut up already, you goddamn failure. I don't give a fuck no more, just shut up. How dare you, ForneverWorld, you fucking piece of shit. I love Gohan. Ah! You heard that sound? Hold on, let me play that sound again. That's the sound of slapping some ass, because Gohan's character has become straight up rabbit cheeks. Anyway, this isn't a Gohan rant. What am I doing? ForneverWorld? Yeah, no. ForneverWorld, I'm telling you, shut the fuck up and keep going with the goddamn chapter. We're a little zany today. Well, anyway. Beerus and Whis are also here on Earth, and apparently, even though it was still technically, I want to say, Meerus' robe that we saw in the last chapter, they're the ones that actually brought Meerus to Earth. So we was kind of both right in a way in the big argument that people were going back and forth regarding, was that Whis that brought Meerus to Earth? Technically, yeah, Beerus and Whis did bring Meerus to Earth, but that was actually, I still want to say, Meerus' clothing and cloth that we saw, and he just switched into his Galactic Patrol gear, because you think about it, like we find out in this chapter that essentially Whis pulled the wool over Beerus. He basically said, yo, let's go, I'll go pound Bulma, we'll get her to make us some food, like we'll have some crazy ass time, and let's just bring Meerus along. But all along, it was to trick Beerus, and to be honest with you, I don't really think that they tricked Beerus. I think a lot of that is to save off Beerus' pride. I think Beerus, for the most part, be cognizant of some of this stuff. It's just that he's the god of destruction, and like, how dare a god of destruction care and feel this way? Because I think Whis was in cahoots, and Beerus was in cahoots with it as well, in terms of bringing Meerus to Earth and allowing him to do what he did. Although I will say that it is a bit heartless, and the text that we got at the end of the chapter makes me question regarding, is Meerus really gone? And that's a whole other conversation. But the way Whis was talking, I'm just like, damn, that's your brother. That's your brother. Like, what did he fuck your bitch or something? Like, why are you kind of heartless? Like, yeah. And within the battle of Meerus versus Moro, seemingly little by little, Meerus starts to slowly disappear. He's kicking Moro's ass. You know, Moro just is like, whoa, holy shit. You know, he's really throwing down with him. And before he even brings out like the angel powers of using the staff and shit like that, he already starts to notice that he's kind of hollow and see-through and shit like that. It's pointed out, so to speak. So definitely you can see that the more he fights, it, you know, makes him disappear. But I think one of the biggest things, and we see later in the chapter, I mean, it's not completely confirmed, but it seems as though when he started using his angel powers is where it really just started sucking the life out of him, so to speak. Because like when he was just using normal combat and kicking, you know, Moro's ass and whatnot, it was like, okay, little by little it was happening. Then all of a sudden, once he used his angel powers, he completely started disappearing. And I'm curious, what the hell was that? Because it's clearly, it wasn't Beerus, it wasn't Whis, unless the Grand Priest was watching through a crystal ball and made it happen. It seems as though it's like a written law that when you get involved, it's just going to happen to you, whether it's like a cognizant thing or I don't know exactly what it is, because you know a lot of this angel stuff in Dragon Ball Super is still kind of a mystery, but it seems as though it was just happening by itself. Like you get involved, it happens. And Meerus is able to break 2 of the crystal things on Moro's hands, which, man, I gotta give props to Meerus. Like we seen Goku and Vegeta, all that worthless training of Vegeta in particular, shit, they couldn't really do that. Then all of a sudden, well, Vegeta did, he got tricked, whatever, same shit with Vegeta. We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna dive into that. We already ranted on Gohan, fam. Let's not do it again. But Goku's like, yo, fam, I don't want you to disappear. I got this. He goes into his Ultra Instinct Omen or Sign form, and he's like, fam, let's do it. Which, by the way, really, really dope art. The one picture of him when he went straight into the Omen or the Sign form or whatnot, but definitely looked like somebody else drew him. I don't know, unless that's just like Toyotaro's actual art style when he's not trying to mimic Toriyama's art style. It looked really sick as hell, but it just kind of looked a little bit different than the, you know, Toriyama-esque Dragon Ball style for Goku, and I liked it. I'm not even gonna lie, it looked badass. But Goku throws down with Moro, and he ain't really able to do shit. Moro is just completely out of his league, and it's just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Because before, the Sign form was a little bit helpful against Moro, but he's obviously since then powered up. It kind of reminds me in this particular form of like, you know, the Buu situation. Like against Fat Buu, Goku was kind of able in Super Saiyan 3 to throw down. Once it was like Super Buu and Gohan Buu and all that shit, it was like, no bueno, not happening. And Goku just, yeah, he ain't been able to do shit. He gets mollywopped out and is like, well, damn, what do we do now? Which forces Meerus to once again jump in, and he says something that is clear as day why he did what he did. And it kind of also contradicts what Ultra Instinct really is about. But he says, okay, one last push should do it. And he jumps in once again into the battle with Moro, and this time clobbers him, busting the crystal in the middle of his forehead. And I don't know why, that felt so freaking satisfying. Maybe it's because of the countless ass whippings that Moro has handed Goku and Vegeta throughout this arc, but when he busted that crystal that he stores their powers in the middle of his forehead, I was like, Meerus, I love you, god damn it, you freaking angel. Like, it was awesome. And getting the flashbacks, like, cause it starts getting emotional from there. Like, it was already a little bit emotional seeing him slowly being hollow and shit like that, like you could see through him. But then once you get to this point and we get the flashbacks of him and Goku and the time they spent in the hyperbolic time chamber, which I believe the anime, whenever this adapts it, when the anime returns in, you know, 2000 and a million at this particular point, when that returns and they do this stuff, there's moments to add extra things like those details of when we see Meerus and Goku in the hyperbolic time chamber and they're talking, and Goku kind of makes Meerus understand even more what like a human and a mortal feels about this galaxy, this universe, and what makes him fall more in love with the idea. Because you got to think he's already spent a decent amount of time being with the Galactic Patrol, but then getting Goku's answers to this of like how he competes to get stronger so that he could beat the villains, and hopefully those villains will turn into good guys. And it's kind of a parallel and a similarity to what the Galactic Patrol do, basically reforming bad guys into good guys. And he was just like so fascinated by it, and it was like emotional to a certain degree. Obviously, again, like I said earlier, I've never been the biggest Meerus fan. He's like a newer character. It's like, okay, whatever. But there was something about the way this chapter was handled that Toyotaro did a great job with Meerus' character. At this particular junction, I gotta say, this chapter in particular made me care. It made me like, this is sad. This is sad. And then following that, Meerus starts to completely disappear. But before he does, he says one last thing to Goku where he's like, I've come to love this galaxy filled with love. Please protect it and he disappears. And man, for a character that was just introduced in this arc, it hit. And I'm gonna tell you why I think it hit more than an average thing in Dragon Ball, because like the last chapter was just kind of shocking, but there's still so many variables of like, well, you could bring the Z Warriors back this way, that way, that way, that way. It was kind of more so implied, and I don't know if it was outright said, but it was definitely implied that if an angel disappears like that, there's no bringing them back. They cease to exist. Now, maybe the Super Dragon Balls, because they have such incredibly godlike powers, can bring him back. And I mean, it is Dragon Ball Super, so there's the potential there. But to be honest with you, it just seems like it's a little bit more permanent than the average death in Dragon Ball, and I think that's why it hits 10 times more. Also seeing this like stranger, this alien to this whole concept of being immortal and shit like that, seeing it, and the time he spent with Goku and the time he spent in the Galactic Patrol and all that, getting the change in him, it was dope. And again, I think the anime adding more, like, you call it filler or whatever, anime original moments of him and Goku in the chamber training and shit like that, it'll get us to feel that much more about the character. And I can see, if I'm emotional just a bit reading this chapter in the anime, it'll be great, and I can't wait for that day. And like I said earlier in the video, Whis says he was always an awkward little brother with like a straight face, like, yo fam, I'd be crying my eyes out, that's my brother, what the fuck is wrong with Whis? Like, Whis, I don't know, comes across as an asshole a lot. And we get that final shot of Goku's back, which honestly, this whole situation reminds me of when Goku went Super Saiyan for the first time, when Krillin was killed by Frieza, where you see like his back and then you see him charging up and he's angry and screaming like that, which again feels like the opposite of what Ultra Instinct has been kind of described to be. Ultra Instinct is not about like, you know, inducing anger or heartbreak to, you know, bust open this chamber of power. It was more so just this ability to move freely without thinking about like your next movement and shit. So how is that correlating? Are they going to try and rewrite the rules of Ultra Instinct? I'm not sure how that's going to work, to be honest. That doesn't sound that great of like, hey, we're rewriting what it originally was. Like, I don't know about that, but either way, this chapter was really, really good. For Dragon Ball Super especially, this was the best one of 2020. Pretty freaking emotional with Meerus, seeing that this is potentially leading, this is more than likely the catalyst to Goku finally unlocking and being able to use Ultra Instinct moving forward. Very curious what you guys think about all of this, though. For starters, how did you feel about the battle between Merus and Moro and breaking those gems? Do you think that Goku's now going to be able to unlock Ultra Instinct? Is it reminding you of when he went Super Saiyan at the hands of, you know, the death of Krillin versus Frieza and shit like that? What do you think about Whis' response? Do you think that is a possibility that it's because there's a way to bring Meerus back so he's not that sad about it? Do you think Meerus was in on their little plan to bring Meerus here to begin with? I think he was. Like, it's not no coincidence. He's not freaking completely oblivious to the fact that Whis says, hey, let's go get food from Bulma, who is probably going to be preoccupied by the fact that the fate of Earth is in jeopardy. And your overall thoughts of this chapter, again, pretty freaking sad. It was a sad one, and yeah, Dragon Ball Super, Toyotaro, my hat's off to what you did and how you pulled it off with Meerus. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life. Boy, have an awesome day. Peace in, and F in the chat for Meerus. Shit is sad.
It's nights like this, and times like this,
What's that?
that I can give another hit. But I've got this inside a switch, a natural bliss. But that I know.